Okay, their backs were against the wall. They had to make changes. So they made changes. There's a lot of pressure from the outside. What happened? Okay, I mean, look, does it come across completely disorganized? Does it come across all thrown together? Yes, everything like that. That's all true. But it had to be. You know what I mean? It's like they had to do something, and this is the answer. And what they were doing wasn't going to work. And I mean, I give them credit to this degree. They could sit here and just, pretend and go, it's injuries and it's cyclical and it's this and it's that, and we know what we're doing and this is the right way to go. No, they know. Vince knows that he had to make changes. Are these changes going to work in the long run? I don't know. I think that it's, he didn't want to give up the idea of brands. The pressure was definitely there from both sides, both NBC, Universal, and Fox, although Fox isn't in the game yet. They both will not be happy with bad ratings because of how much money they're spending. It's a lot different game than this XFL where so-so ratings are fine because they're not spending any money on it. These companies want ratings with that kind of money that they're spending, especially because it's not a advertiser-friendly product. And they want star power, and these brands individually don't have enough star power. Fox wanted more storylines they wanted storylines that are going to be on both Raw and SmackDown. NBC Universal was real upset about the ratings, especially in the third hour, and was asking questions about our ratings are this, and this. Why we give away Roman Reigns? So, that the pressure's on that the top stars work both shows. So, it'll be different guys. I guess it's 4 guys every week on both shows, in theory. I mean, it may not be.
I think you said 3.
No, at the end of the show, it's 4.
So it changed during the show?
Yeah, to 4. It started at 3, but by the third hour, it was 4, yeah.
Dude.
Didn't you see the segment with Lars? That's where he changed it.
I was unaware it was changed from 3 to 4, but there you go.
Yeah, and Lars Sullivan came in because Lars Sullivan was actually the 5th guy, but Elias didn't count. This is unique math. So it was the 3 guys that were there at the beginning. Elias and Shane don't count. Well, Shane's a McMahon, so I guess he can be on both shows anyway. So Elias doesn't count. But Lars, when he came out, he was the 4th guy. So 4 is too many, so Vince had to change and say, okay, it's 4. So yeah, it's 4 guys now. Maybe it'll be 5 next week. Who knows? But yeah, they're just. I think.
Is anybody at NBC Universal or Fox or anybody aware that the reason that there's not enough star power on both shows is because they don't know how to create stars and not because WWE has not signed enough stars?
I think the ones who actually know wrestling may have it figured out, which means. I mean, there's people there who read, so they should be aware. But I think for the most part, I would say no.
If you count NXT, this is the deepest roster they've ever had in their entire existence.
Oh, for sure.
Dating back to 1963. And we're sitting here talking about how there's not enough star power on each brand.
Well, that's because you know why that is. That's because the way they book.
It is. So my point of all of this is great, we're going to have 4 people. I mean, next week it may be 5 or maybe 2 again. I mean,
well, I guess now, okay, because next week, every other week. So the Tuesday show, it's no big deal because there's it's kind of screwed on the guys who expect certain days off, but that's with Vince. That's always a part of working there. But for Tuesday, when you only have one show, it's not a big deal. But the Monday, it's tough because now they could cancel the Monday house show, but then the guys who aren't that 4 are all going to be pissed off because they're on the road, with road expenses making no money. So that doesn't do them any good. Or you go with the house show with key guys not on the house show. If you want them, and likely false advertising because they don't come up with what they want to do so far in advance. So they'll be advertising. Let's just say Roman Reigns will be advertised, or Daniel Bryan, or Kofi Kingston, or whoever is on that roster. Andrade or whatever, Lars Sullivan. Well, Becky can be on both brands, and so the Iconics. Let's say Charlotte Flair. Let's just say. They're going to be advertised for that house show, and then Vince is going to come on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday and go, I'm picking Charlotte Flair and I don't know, Shinsuke Nakamura, and they're going to be my, people that are going to be on Raw this week. So then they got to pull them from the house show that they're advertised on, or, Roman's probably going to be on a lot of weeks, pretty often, I would say. So you're becoming WCW, where you advertise things at house shows, you don't deliver, the people there aren't happy, it becomes a pattern. We've seen what happens with WCW and Gates when you do that for too long, and that's luckily they don't come to markets enough to where it becomes a pattern to run fans off when you're only coming once or twice a year. People don't have those memories as if you were coming like 4 or 5 times a year and you keep getting no shows, and then people start feeling they've been ripped off. So it is a different animal. It's probably not going to be like WCW.
Sounds like this wild card rule and Vince's plan to turn around house shows may have issues coexisting.
I don't think house shows are going to be turning around. I don't see that. I mean, ratings, I don't know that this is going to be a big turnaround. It might help a little bit. I think we're going to know on this one within 2 or 3 weeks if the numbers, if the number for tonight's show is in the same range or lower than last week, then this is all for naught, in the sense that it's going to be a very scary thing if the numbers, and it could be, you had a really strong basketball game against that last 90 minutes. Tomorrow's numbers, like for a long time, the numbers didn't really mean anything because they'd already signed the deals. But now, this week, last week numbers meant a lot. The fallout everywhere throughout television, those numbers meant a lot. This week's numbers mean a lot. If they're up a little bit, good. But again, it's a 1 week. It doesn't really matter too much. But, if they were going to decline at the pace that they were doing, these numbers were going to be really scary in a month, and they were going to be death during football season. Real bad. If this can avert that, that's good. And they're still counting on, Fox and all the promotion for being on Fox. I mean, they're telling all their investors, and I've seen people who buy it, and maybe they're right. It's not I don't feel that it's going to happen like this, but the idea of being on Fox every week to a larger audience and being promoted heavily during Thursday night football games and things like that, there is a mentality, there is a very viable theory that this will lead to serious growth. But you need the horses, you need the stars, and you need an entertaining television show. And they haven't been providing that. And you can have all the promotion you want, and you may even get a bump with that promotion. But in the long run, if you don't have a good product, that's in the end of the day, that's, you can promote anything like crazy. If you don't have a good product, it's going to revert to the levels that product deserves.